Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Rabbit Hole Roundtable Talks, the show where we take a topic and we deep dive into it, dive into all the rabbit holes that we can find, and we have no concise endpoint. Usually we just end the show when time's up, but the journey to get to where we need to go is always pretty fun. Today I'm joined by my co-host Mino. What's up?
What's good? What's good? What's good? Welcome to the party. Uh,
Oh God. Oh
yeah,
man.
today is gonna be a good show. I already feeling it.
Yeah,
We're literally going to talk about something that a lot of people think about. So, yeah, I think it's gonna be great.
I agree. I agree. So you could start today's off.
All right. Well, oh, you know what I did not do? I
Mm.
didn't write down the date that it happened on.
Me,
Um,
me either.
but let me see if I could just find the date real quick. Where's that link at? All right, guys, give us a second.
October 4th.
Oh yeah. I remembered all on my own. So on October 4th, um, Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, basically all the properties owned by Facebook went down. And that got me and Wanted thinking because, well, actually, Wanted text me like, "Yo, the world is ending," and I was like, really? Why? Like I was thinking like, meteors or maybe like China declared war on America or something. I don't know. No, Facebook is down. So then we went down the rabbit hole
War in
looking at like
America or
why
something. I
it's
don't know.
down, um, all kind of stuff. We started looking into conspiracies. We literally went down the rabbit hole on this one. We even watched a documentary called what's the documentary called, bro?
Social media something. The social
Uh,
paradox.
uh,
Uh,
the social dilemma. I think it's what it's called, the social dilemma.
yeah.
Yo, we get old, bro. I had to eat some ginseng or something
Oh
because
man, that's wild. That's wild.
I had to eat some ginseng. But yeah, the social dilemma. We watched that documentary as well, and we're gonna talk about all that today.
Mm-hmm.
So, bro, what was your first thoughts when you like first saw that Facebook was down?
I already told you the world was
And how did
ending.
you find out? How did you find out?
One of the people that I talk to on a daily basis told me that Facebook was down, and I was like, "What? That's dumb." But I looked into it, and Facebook was gone. Couldn't get on Facebook. Then I realized I haven't spoken to my wife or you or my other brother today. And I'm like, why? So I went on WhatsApp, I checked there, and I realized that I couldn't send any messages and I didn't get any messages, which is also weird.
Yeah,
So then I went on Instagram and that was blocked. So I was like, oh, it is down. And I'm like, this is strange. This is crazy. Something as big as Facebook going down, that's a big deal.
yeah. You know what? I thought it was hackers. I thought like
Mm,
somebody hacked Facebook and was like DDoSing them or something so that it couldn't work.
that
But
sounds
I didn't even know that it was affecting WhatsApp and Instagram until like you told me. Because at one point I was telling you, as long as Instagram's still up, everything is okay. Because we need to look at our pics.
Oh my God. You need to
Wink,
look at your
wink.
pics.
I mean, I only have one pic I like to look at. That's
Mm,
Chloe Bailey.
yeah.
That's the only person I like to see on Instagram. Everybody else is just riffraff. Just
Yeah.
get rid of the riffraff.
Oh my gosh. Uh-huh.
If my wife posted on there, I would look at her too. But I
Mm,
mean, I could see her every day. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. But then
So yeah, go
the
ahead.
implications really hit me like not just me, but people like me who are not from the US and they don't have like
Mhm.
a connection to people back home. So I'm like, how am I gonna talk to all my family that's not in the US? I have to go back to
Yeah,
buying phone cards. You know about phone cards?
yeah, yeah. I know about that. I never used it, but I have friends who use it
Oh
a
my
lot.
God. Phone cards is one of the biggest, I won't call it a scam, but every card is different. You buy the same card for the same $5 and you get different times on each one. You have to gamble and hopefully you have like an hour on a card. Hopefully.
What?
Yeah. Well, it was like
That's
$5 cards, $10 cards, and $20 cards. We get the $10 cards because that's like the happy medium. But like
mhm.
sometimes you get them like you have 18 minutes to make this call. What? And the other time it's like you have an hour to make this call. So like, why are you changing the times?
What? That can't be legal.
I don't even know. You see, even
Like,
in the chat they say, like the cards are always different.
that's crazy.
Yeah, I think I
So
should.
I never used it,
Mm-hmm.
but I had a friend who used to always have them drug dealer phones,
Yes.
them flip phones.
Uh-huh.
He always had a new one every week. I don't know what he was getting into, but he always used to have a burner phone, and he always used to have the to
Yeah,
call
yeah,
stuff
yeah, yeah.
people. So
So,
yeah, but actually, my initial thoughts were, oh, I don't care. Like, who cares if Facebook is down?
yeah,
That's really what I was thinking. And then realize WhatsApp is down because you actually messaged me like actual text. You
yeah,
never text me the like actual
exactly.
text. I was like, this is weird. And then you were like, WhatsApp is down. And actually, I didn't even know. I mean, I knew that what that Facebook bought WhatsApp, but I like forgot.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely didn't know that they owned Instagram. I was like, oh, I didn't know Instagram was part of Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so then I looked into it. I actually went on Facebook. The funny thing is, you could still, at least with the app, you could still see like previous posts, but you can't see anything new.
Mm-hmm.
So I was on there. I was like, oh, it still works, kinda, but then it wasn't actually working. So and then I was just thinking like, why is it down? And then yeah,
Just quickly check your Discord.
all right, all right, all right, all right.
So with that, I was like, there's a lot of people that's gonna be out of connection. Nobody gonna know what to do. They're gonna be stranded. Then like you could just call somebody, but you can't call everybody. And we're gonna talk about this later. Speaking about how Facebook owns WhatsApp and Instagram, you forget to think about how these big companies own so many things you wouldn't think that they own. And we did a research last night together. We are like, damn, this company owns so many smaller companies that if
Mm-hmm.
they went down, a lot of stuff will go down. So I mean, it's very, very interesting stuff. And it just comes about because somebody, I guess, didn't do their job right. So if you're this guy or this lady, what's your thoughts when this happens?
You mean like when it goes down?
Yeah, like you're the one that had to configure whatever they had. I don't know any technical
It,
terms, but you're the one that had to do this fix, and you broke everything.
if I so where I work now, right?
Mm,
If I make a mistake that big, luckily I work in the government, so it's very hard to get fired. I've heard. I don't
mhm,
know if it's true. I'm not going to try and test it, but I've heard that it's really hard to get fired.
mhm,
I mean, maybe it's hard to get fired there because it's supposed to be a, I'm guessing it's a team effort. I'm thinking it's probably not just like one person hit a button and
mhm.
then everything just went. So, but I would be, for lack of a better word, pooping myself. I'd have been like, I'd have been trying to find who I could blame. No, just kidding. I won't do that. But I would have been like, I don't know. I'd have been scared. That's the long and short of it. I'd have just been scared.
Yeah.
I'd probably
Imagine.
be coding furiously, like trying to like undo
Oh man, it took them a while. It took them about was you found it was like longer time than I did.
like 8 hours.
8 hours. That's a long
Yeah.
time.
You ever so I do coding for work, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, like one time, I wrote some code, I named it something, and then I wrote a different code. I saved it. I thought I named it something else and saved it.
Mm-hmm.
It turns out I actually overwrote the one that I didn't want to overwrite.
Yeah.
Because I was just doing like a little test on the side to see
Mm-hmm.
something.
Yeah.
I overwrote the code, and luckily we have a thing where you could revert. In the folder, you could revert to a previous time.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily that was there because I was literally like, damn, I have to do everything over again. I was stressing, dude. I was like, I have to do everything over again. I have to, dang, it took me like, dude, it took me almost a year to write all the code that I wrote.
Yeah.
So if I had to do everything over, yeah, that would have sucked. So I could imagine like the person who did this,
Mm-hmm.
they probably had the same like feeling, like, dang, this I have to do everything over again. So
But isn't your job, isn't your thing like a team effort as well? So like other people's code actually went in there as well, or is it just yours?
no, like this was like a project where I was in the lead. I'm
Mm-hmm.
still the lead. I'm still working on it
Okay.
technically. I'm doing QA now, checking the quality and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
making sure everything is how it's supposed to look.
Yeah.
But no, I'm the only person who was coding it.
Okay.
I got a little bit of help at one point, but mostly me.
Mm. So let's say this was like a 2 day or 3 day thing. What would you think the news would be like? What would the outcome be like?
Um, well, let's wait before we move on to that.
Mm.
Maybe we should explain to the audience like what we were able to find about like what happened
Well, you could
because I don't.
understand it better than me, so you could go ahead and break that down.
All right. So I actually went and researched this. Actually, you posted something, um, which I'll post in the chat right now so people could check it out for themselves.
Mm.
I'll post it in the YouTube chat. No, I don't know how to use the internet, so work with me. Here we go. Basically, there's a guy named Doug Mattery, director of the internet analysis at Kentic, a San Francisco-based network monitoring company. And he said that at approximately 11:39 Eastern Standard Time, someone at Facebook basically caused an update to be made to the company's border gateway protocol. Now, a border gateway protocol, BGP, is basically a mechanism by which the internet services, this internet service providers
Mm.
of the world, that's where they share information about who is who, basically, and is responsible for routing internet traffic to specific sites. So basically, if your BGP is messed up in some way, then if somebody type your address into the internet, they won't find you. The internet
Mhm.
wouldn't know where to find you, so they can't direct them towards you.
Mm. Gotcha.
And basically, when Facebook went down, they when their BGP was messed up, then you couldn't get access to any of their products because all their stuff is on the same under the same network address, basically.
Mm. So small
So
correction, I did understand that, and I even understood that people that worked at Facebook couldn't even get in because that's also coded in there as well.
yeah, like they couldn't even get into the building, which is crazy because I mean, it should be like Google. Google basically like they outsource all their stuff.
Hmm.
Not outsource all their stuff. That's not true. They basically have different things that properties that they own,
Yeah.
but they all have their own independent stuff. So if anything goes down, they still could do work. And I think Facebook probably needs to start doing that. But I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. But Google is huge, so it's understandable why they
Yeah,
have those means.
yeah.
Okay. So now that we know that, if it was longer, what do you think the outcry would be like?
Hmm. I don't know, man. So I was thinking about this, like if it was how long it was now,
Hmm.
I think at first some people would be like kind of annoyed because some people are permanently addicted to being on social media.
Hmm.
But I think after a while, people would probably think of it as a blessing. Like as the day go on, if it went into like weeks and stuff,
Yeah.
people have been like, you know what? I don't have social media. Oh my gosh, I just realized I have puzzles that I didn't work on in a long time. Let me go do
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
puzzles, something like that. Or maybe they might watch Netflix more or something. I've heard memes about people being on like Prawns Hub a
Mm.
lot more.
Oh.
So I don't know. People might just find other ways to release their uh their cravings for social media.
I feel like if it was the old me, I'd have been going crazy. Because old me back in like 2010, 2011, I was a Facebook fiend. Always posting, always got the jokes, always got the memes. And like, it was
Hmm.
like all day. And I stopped using
Same,
Facebook about a year ago. Like, I stopped like being excessively on Facebook. And it's just like, it's
same,
nothing now. So
same.
I would have
Yeah,
been fine.
I go on Facebook maybe like once a week,
Yeah.
scroll through,
Hmm.
like share some Black empowerment stuff that I see people post,
Hmm.
and log right back off. Like I don't see the point. I don't even comment on people's stuff as much as I used to, or like get into discussions as much as I used to. It's just a waste of time, I feel. So
Yeah. We didn't write this down, but soon after, Twitch was hacked.
really,
I thought I told you this. I did
You
tell
did
you
not.
this because I was worried about our channel being a part of it.
Oh yeah, you did tell me that. Cause you tell me check Twitch to see if my account, what's
Hmm.
going on with my account.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I checked, and then
Hey.
I was like, everything seems fine. I thought you were telling me that I got banned for some crazy stuff that I might have said. Cause you know I'd
No.
be saying some crazy stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
I thought you said like you got banned or I got banned, so I was like checking to see. And
Hmm.
I was like, I didn't get banned. And then you told me that your friend said that their account got hacked.
Yeah.
But I didn't know.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
What's going on, Deborah? Oh, you got some people in the chat here.
Yeah.
You know, this a hard segue, but I like hearing the accent from back home even more now because I don't hear it at all. So when I hear somebody say it or type, I'm like, oh, that's so nostalgic. Like, take me back.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
But yeah.
That's why I had to feel like, when we talking, I don't mix in like our accent a little bit because I feel like this is naturally me. Like I know Americans potentially can't understand everything that's being said if I
Hmm.
go into like rah Crucian.
Yeah.
At the same time, they gotta learn, man. They gotta learn.
You got accepted. This is part of you now. We're here.
Yeah. Feel me? So
Oh, so when I was driving the other day, I was thinking Facebook went down, Instagram went down, and like Twitch was hacked. And I feel like this is gonna be probably extreme, but like I felt like our sources for free speech were being attacked in a way, and that's kind of almost scary, but almost good at the same time because some people say things that I wish they probably wouldn't say, you know. So it's like
mhm.
bittersweet almost.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Like, huh. That's funny because I was looking into some conspiracies and there are some QAnon conspiracies around this.
Hmm.
And I think one of them was talking about them attacking freedom of speech. Although it's weird because a lot of these right-wing groups don't use these services anymore because of the fact that they keep getting like taken down because of all the crazy stuff that they say.
Hmm.
But maybe we should talk about conspiracies for a bit. I
Surrounding
actually have
this,
a
sure,
few. I have a few links. I'll send it to you, or you already have them.
I have them, yeah.
All right. Actually, I don't think they actually said anything about freedom of speech. I may be making that up. It's the internet. You could just make stuff up and it becomes true. You know how it is.
And that's the good side to Facebook and Instagram and stuff being down. It's like people gonna stop saying crazy stuff now, hopefully.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I have people. I remember back when, and this not to like disparage anybody, but back when like COVID shots were first out and stuff, all the discussions I had around like why it's important for people to get vaccinated, why it is actually a vaccine and not whatever they were claiming it was.
Hmm.
So much like misinformation was out there. Oh, and from watching the documentary, I learned that this information is spread 9 times faster than actual facts.
Yeah.
So learning that made me realize, oh, it makes sense that some people were like saying all the stuff they were saying is because this information is spread so much faster and so much wider
Hmm.
that it's impossible for actual reality to keep up.
Yep, that's true.
But yeah, let's go to this conspiracies.
The one I see that stands out is similar to yours, which I think most people would actually think is like hackers trying to attack Facebook to get our information, which is not really anything important if you really think about it.
True.
But let's say you were to hack into Google now. There's a lot of passwords on Google, a lot of credit cards on Google. There's a lot of stuff that Google has of yours.
Yeah. See passwords. Yeah.
Hmm.
Can you actually let's just look at one, maybe
Hmm.
because I don't want to spend too much time on conspiracies.
Yeah,
So let's just look at one link. If we could like share screen kind of with the audience.
sure. Which one do you want to look at?
Mm. I- Let's go with the last link. But while you put the last link, I'm going to just state some of the conspiracies that we found. So one of them was that Facebook's outage was linked to Zuckerberg's crypto ambitions. Basically, the claim was that he planned to have an outage because he wanted to enter the cryptocurrency business.
Mm.
That was the first one I found. Then another one saying that the co-founder of Facebook was advocating for freedom of expression on social media, and they want to start operating in China.
Mm.
So I don't know what that was about. Then we have QAnon. They were saying that mm, the outage would result in a 10-day nationwide blackout that would then usher in mass arrests of global elites involved in child um, stuff where they do slavery.
Mm.
And then they was referencing somebody who had posted on, which I don't know if that's even that's a word I shouldn't be saying on the internet. But basically somebody who claimed that they saw this coming and blah blah blah, even though they posted it 10 minutes after the event started. They posted it 15 minutes after the event started. So I don't know how they saw it coming if they didn't post it before it happened.
Is this the one you want to look at?
Yeah, because this one is basically you could scroll down and you have like the screenshots of different tweets of the conspiracies people are having.
Oh,
So we don't have to like try and guess. I mean, I don't have to like look through it on my own.
yeah. But see, like this is like a satire account. Like this is helping to spread misinformation, and like I don't like that.
That's the problem because people don't know what's satire and what's not, and they take the satire as fact. They take the clip, they screenshot the clip, and then they start sharing it as if it's an actual fact without
Yeah.
even stating the source anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's like no misinformation spreading, and then of course people are more likely to read things that seem right
Mm-hmm.
than to actually go to find out what's actually right.
That's true. So the tweet in question says, breaking, Facebook has revealed that the recent outage of its apps and services was caused by a Chinese state-sponsored hacker group known as Jing Hongwan. Hopefully that's right. But that's what it says. 6,000 likes.
Jang Hunyas? I cannot pronounce that either.
And this is what
And you shared this one with me
yes.
because you thought this was real, and this one is probably not real either.
Facebook's master code reportedly deleted, which means Facebook and Instagram would be gone forever. That's crazy. But when I share stuff with you, I know that's not the end of it for both of us. We're both gonna go back
Yeah,
into it and look through it. Hence this show and all.
yeah.
So Becca said, I find it incredibly suspicious that Facebook shut down after it just got exposed from a former employee turned whistleblower, Francis Hogan, on 60 Minutes. This shutdown happened in an attempt to destroy evidence. That's
Wow,
a that's a fair claim, but you don't
that's
know.
fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can't just state things as if it's true. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's my problem with a lot of stuff, though. People just be stating things as if it's true with no way to prove it, no evidence, nothing.
Yeah. Data of over 1.5 billion Facebook users is being sold on a popular hacking-related forum. Data contains users' names, emails, phone numbers, locations, gender, and user ID. And the retweet says, this tweet is based on a 2-week-old thread on Raid forums. In that same thread, someone recently posted that they paid the OP for this alleged data and was scammed. Maybe it's real, but no reason to bet to see some report like this. Exactly.
Crazy.
It is. It is. There's a lot more? Golly.
There's a lot more, dude. We don't have to go through all of them, but it's just to show like there's so many conspiracies out there. Like I was
Mm-hmm.
surprised. I thought I would have a hard time finding conspiracies,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a ton.
Peace. Hello to everyone. Okay, that's it. Oh, it's done. Okay.
Okay, well, maybe not as much as I thought on this page, but yeah, there's a lot. Like when you Google it,
Yeah.
crazy.
So initially, I wanted to just hop on this and just be like, let's do a podcast now. Like right now about it. In back end, I was like, we can't just jump on this right now because things will change as soon as we do it, and then we will be wrong. Then we got recant what we said, and nobody wants to do that.
Also, like moments after you said let's do it now, and I was like, maybe we should wait.
Mm-hmm.
It came back online, so it was over.
Because I was gonna be like, the world is ending. The world is ending.
Yeah.
Sky is
Hey
falling.
guys, breaking news.
Sky is
Facebook
falling.
down.
Oh god. But it would be
What
true.
are we gonna do?
Ah, wild.
Let me ask you some questions now.
Sure.
I said I got an interview. Um, I think this was a good question that you asked me actually.
Mm,
You was asking me like what would happen to people who are famous, like influencers on Instagram and stuff.
mm-hmm.
Like what would happen to them if this was like a permanent thing? At least that's how I interpreted it. But
Yeah.
what do you think will happen?
I think they'll have to get real jobs now.
Like at McDonald's or something?
Yeah, or find another platform to influence on if that was their bread and butter. But they have to
Mm,
actually get a job and probably not be as, I don't know, because as an influencer you get a lot of support and a lot of, I guess, esteem from it. So I don't know how it affect their self-esteem to not have all those likes anymore, not have all those positive
true.
comments anymore. Like I wonder what happened to them mentally as well. So I don't know.
Yeah. I assume they would just migrate to like a different platform, like
Yeah.
you said.
But then how would you get your
Um,
followers to follow you because you can't talk to them and tell them where you're going?
well, if it was all social media, I don't know how they would do it. But if it's like just Facebook, which is kind of weird, like I can't imagine people being like famous on Facebook.
There are
Maybe
people.
Instagram. Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I figured if it's like Instagram, like they have Instagram models nowadays and stuff like
Hmm.
that,
Yeah.
I figured they would just go on Twitter and be like, "Hey guys," whatever they say.
Hmm.
And then I don't know where they would go. Maybe YouTube? I don't know.
Yeah. I also just thought about like who would be the one to create the next Facebook. It has to come back
Of course.
in some way or form. So what would it be? Like what would it look like? Would it be like the original or would it be something like the more recent one?
It would probably be like Google making it because, you know, Google trying to do everything now.
Oh yeah. I feel like Hangouts was their little idea and attempt to have like a social thing. And
Hmm.
it's decent, if you use Google Gmail all the time, you could just talk through Gmail, text through Gmail, and you have this, it's okay, but it's no Facebook. That's a
Yeah.
big monster right there.
So another question I have, which do you think is worse? An apocalypse where we have all our electronics, we have TV, we have electricity, we have basically everything. Life is normal,
Mm-hmm.
like how it is today. The only difference is there are zombies running around.
Mm-hmm.
Is that worse than no zombies running around, but we don't have no electricity, no phones, nothing electronic, the cars don't work? Like basically, we don't have any technologies that we currently have. Maybe some medical technologies, but like no technologies that requires electricity for sure. Um, which word do you think is worse?
Wait, but that means like muscle cars would still work, right? Like old cars would work.
Yeah, gas engines. Yeah, right. The cars that predate like when they started putting computers in
Chips.
cars. Yeah.
A part of me just wants to say that just having zombies is gonna be worse, period. Because that's something that could just spread astronomically.
Hmm.
But having grown up and lived in a modern society, I feel like not having any technology would be 100 times worse.
Mm. I'm not gonna lie. My initial thought, probably still my current thought, is that the zombies is definitely worse because imagine this, right?
Yes.
You in your house watching TV on mute because you can't watch TV because the zombies might hear it. Or maybe you can't watch TV at all because they're gonna see the lights flashing and be like, food? Gone to you. So
Yeah,
even though you may have electricity, you may have all this stuff, you can't use any of it because the zombies go find you.
yeah.
So that sucks. Like You
Yeah,
might still not even have technology because of the zombies. You might have it, but you can't use it.
that's so true. Then you back to square one. But then the
Yeah,
technology that I'm thinking about using wouldn't really be used in zombies because I'm thinking about like Google Maps, booking flights and things like that, which we're gonna talk about later. Like, you can't really use them if they're gone, and like people to use actual maps again. They're going to use the stars to navigate. Like, where are the people gonna find maps? Period. Probably in the library,
true.
because you're not gonna print a map from online because there's no online to print the maps from.
Yeah. Which is funny. Like I always wonder, like if we had an apocalypse, like a real apocalypse, right?
Mm,
Um, well, not a real apocalypse, but like one where like electronics weren't working.
yeah.
Who gonna survive? Boy Scouts, probably. People who do foresty stuff all the time.
hmm
I ain't gonna survive. I don't even know how to pop a tent.
Oh my gosh! But you learn there's instructions on there.
I mean, I know I could learn. I could definitely learn. I'm a quick learner, especially when it comes to doing stuff with my hands.
hmm
But I don't know it currently. Like I barely know how to fish. And I only know how to fish because I've been doing it recently with my dad-in-law.
hmm
But I don't know. I could probably hunt if I have a gun, a rifle, or something.
You can't make a
But
bow and arrow.
a bow and arrow? What is that?
I would just want one just to have one.
You want me? I'm gonna be like this. I hit myself in the chest and I cannot. No, knocking yourself in the chin. Breaking my jaw trying to kill a rabbit. Like that's wild.
I'm glad you actually clarified that you're talking about electronic technology because technology in itself means anything that's advanced in humans. So you wouldn't have rifles if there was no technology, period.
Right, right. True, true, true.
But you did
Yeah,
specify. Yeah,
electricity
yeah,
based
yeah.
electronics. Yeah.
That's crazy. I didn't even think about that, about being able to survive outside because when your food's done, you gotta go outside and get more food. You have to.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And I wonder too, like it'll probably gonna be catastrophic because of how much humans are on the planet as well.
Mm-hmm.
We already supposedly have a food shortage. I know we have to hunt for food
Yeah,
and is a limited resource now because it's not like a bunch of like mass bred cows anymore.
yeah.
And then I guess then people with farms gonna be like trying to protect their livestock because they ain't gonna want to share because now like, you know, the
But then
economy is down.
I think people that I'll call them hunter gatherers. People that do that stuff like farm and they raise cattle, chickens, pigs, they'll be on top because they have the one resource everybody needs.
Yeah, true.
But then
I'm guessing
again,
those people. Go ahead.
I was gonna say you don't know how civil people are gonna be in trying to acquire these resources, though. That's the only thing.
Mhm. There's always going to be somebody who feel entitled to take something from somebody else.
That everybody else gonna follow suit.
Yeah. Although I don't think the economy will crash now that I think about it, because we still gonna have all the farms and stuff in place. We just won't have an easy way to communicate with them anymore.
hmm
But they still gonna have their livelihood.
I think that would
Um,
be the only livelihood there is left, to be honest.
True, because we can't really sell services like entertainment anymore. Well,
hmm
actually, no, entertainment will just change, right? Like we'll just go back to doing stage acting and stuff.
Yeah.
But it won't get to reach a broader audience. Like no, we could like right now we on YouTube.
hmm
People in any country could watch us right now.
Yep.
We won't have that reach anymore.
And you should hit that like, leave a comment, and subscribe as well. Ding.
Oh
I
yeah, it's like
I got edit that did.
if you're on the ball, you're on the ball.
Oh man, but yeah, I agree. We have to do live shows and things like that to entertain ourselves. But I was
Yeah,
thinking actually that if you do, let's say, kill a deer, you have to probably eat it in the same night because there's no fridges anymore. We have to
true.
go back to burying our food and making it cold or something and preserving it.
Or like salt in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I mean, at least we know the old techniques.
Do we?
You
Or do
know,
we know of them?
we know of them,
Yes.
and we could reverse engineer. I feel
hmm
like humans aren't really that dumb. Like, yeah, we kind of dumbing down
Yeah.
and forgetting a lot of different skills. Like, for instance, back in the day, people knew how to sew.
Mm-hmm.
And nowadays, a lot of people don't know how to sew anymore.
I could sew and crochet.
Yeah, and like changing a tire, a lot of people don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
And to me, that's very intuitive.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like we're forgetting these little things because we keep outsourcing, paying others to do it for us.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it's becoming like every skill is becoming specialized basically,
Yeah.
instead of just like common knowledge. So that I think that at first is going to be a problem because people are going to be trying to refigure out how to do these things again.
Mm-hmm.
Those who already know going to try and profit off of teaching people.
Yeah.
So they'll be like, okay, bring me 2 cows to teach you how to sew.
That's true.
Mister, I don't have no cow. What are you going to do?
Oh,
You
we got
know,
the
stuff like that.
barter again. Oh man,
Yeah,
bartering is so arbitrary. It's all based on your value and of the thing.
yeah. I mean, you could be, I mean, we could also like, what's the thing where they advertise something. It's no different from anything else, but they make it seem like it's better than other things.
Mm,
It's a special name for it. But basically, you could just be like, hey, my cow to poop gold. You gotta give me 10 cows for this 1 cow. Like
that's
people are gonna be
wild.
doing stuff like that.
That's
Yeah.
wild. That's wild.
How you think it's gonna affect like people's creativity though?
Creativity might go back up because you have to do things to entertain yourself now. You have to work in a way that's different because there's no Facebook, there's no Instagram. You have to actually do things. And when all the things that you have to do run out, you have to create new things to do. So people can
Yeah.
probably draw again. People can go outside, try and develop intuitive ways to do things that they used to be able to do. So like
Hmm.
almost recreating the wheel, but in their own way, because it's gonna be different.
Yeah.
So going back to the bartering system and the economy, we have in our notes about banks, and it's like, where would there'll be no money? Because banks don't really have money to give you to say, I want all my money up to the bank. And if everybody does
Mhm.
that, there'll be no money in that specific bank. So then, are banks prepared for an EMP attack or a solar flare or things like that?
That's a good question. I'd take a moment here just to say to Deborah and Dwayne and Chad, thanks for coming. Um, Feel free to comment. We are reading the comments. We are reading the chat. Um, we actually would like input. If you guys have any thoughts or opinions about anything that we're talking about, feel free to share. I mean,
Yes.
also you might just be listening while you drive or something, and that's also fine. You could just keep doing that. We appreciate it.
Speaking of listening
Although if
while
you're
you
on
drive,
YouTube, go ahead.
speaking of listening while you drive, we are now going to be having audio podcasts available wherever podcasts can be found. So the first one's going to be available, I think, this evening. So from this point forward, every 2 weeks, we're going to release the previous podcast that we already had. So if you want to be, listening while you do different things and you don't want to watch us, which I don't know why you wouldn't want to watch us, but if you want to just listen to the podcast, they're going to be available wherever podcasts are found. When I have the more detailed list, I'll be linking that everywhere as well. So just stay tuned.
Nice. And also feel free to share with your friends. You know, um, we from the islands. I assume people watching right now are from the islands. Well, I know they are. I know who is watching right now. But share with your American friends, share with your Russian friends, share with your German friends. Share with everybody, man.
Yeah, just share
We're
it.
trying to we try to spread some fun on the internet.
Yeah, a little bit.
But let me answer your question. So I actually looked into like, do countries have a fail safe?
Hmm.
Um, so I know for sure that China, from my research, I went on Forbes, I found on the Forbes journal website that China has, they're growing their EMP weapon technology.
Oh.
Um, and it's technology that they stole from America, by the way. Crazy.
Yeah.
They stole this technology from America. They started developing it. So they now have weapons. They have things to protect themselves from it. And they have protocols to conduct first strike attacks. And of course, China denying that they would ever do anything like that.
You
Oh, we
have to.
just,
You have to
yeah,
deny it.
we would never attack y'all. Come on, we stole it from you for fun. You know what I'm saying? But America also has some guidelines. I don't know if they have anything in place. I assume they do, but it's probably like secret information because you don't want to share your capabilities with the world, or else your enemies know how to get around your defenses.
Mhm.
So they probably have secret information about how to protect ourselves against this. So it was really hard to find like if America had this on the internet.
Mhm.
But I did find some protocols and some guidelines from CISA, CISA.gov.
Okay.
That basically it was basically a document outlining like the protocols and stuff like that that different government agencies need to follow to like defend or like what's the word? Have like a backup for if an
Mhm.
EMP,
Gotcha.
like an electromagnetic pulse happens.
Mm.
So we do have some things in place. About banks though, banks were a little bit disturbing
Yeah.
because banks have a bunch of backups, but all their backups are like computer based.
Yeah.
So like if somebody do an EMP, not only would their backups, like their regular files get destroyed, even their backups would get destroyed.
Yep.
And I found another website, again, is the Forbes Journal. They were saying that banks, of course, should have an offline recovery mechanism like tape backups, but they were saying that those things take time to get online,
Mm.
and it might not include the most recent transactions.
Yeah.
So, yeah. What did you find?
I found basically the same thing that the backups are just as susceptible as was there in the forefront, which scared me. And I also found that the people that developed these technologies did not develop defenses to them. So, like, why would you develop something and not protect yourself against it? That's kind of
Right.
wild. You hold in like the whole nation's future in your hands, basically, because money is the past, present, and future. And if you lose
Hmm.
that, then it's just back to anarchy. Anarchy? No, it's back to the Wild Wild West, basically.
Yeah, pretty much the same thing,
Okay.
really. Because there are already people out there who are paranoid about like, what if somebody hacked the banks and like erase all our financial information?
Yeah.
And banks have a lot of defenses against that.
Hmm.
They invest heavily in cybersecurity and all these things to prevent those kind of stuff,
Yeah.
but they have no backup. So if somebody was to be successful, and it really only takes one
Yeah.
time, and people could get lucky. So you could always have the best armor, but there's always a chink in any armor. So
Hmm. You say
I worry about that.
getting lucky, but is hacking not more so skill than luck, or are you saying lucky in that they find one loophole that wasn't covered?
Yeah, that's the latter, what you just said.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Makes sense.
So I don't know. I feel like, I mean, of course, what's the alternative? Like
Mm.
that's always a question. Well, what's the alternative?
Yeah.
People want to say like, let's have gold, like buy gold and keep gold on you and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But the problem is a lot of that stuff can get stolen. If somebody break into your house, they could steal all your stuff.
Yeah.
But
That's
a
true.
bank, unless they hack the bank, nobody's stealing your money.
Hmm.
Or maybe they could find your credit card, but even that, you could cancel your credit card. It's a little bit more protection from those
Mm.
things. So I don't really know what's a good alternative, to be
Yeah.
honest.
So I don't know where this would fit into today's episode, but I have a fear of someone hacking into like the transportation system and turning off the train arms. That's a fear of mine. I have to go over train tracks every
Ooh.
day. Like you imagine, like let's say you for example, or even me now. I've been here for few years, and I'm pretty comfortable with the schedule of trains, just about 1 o'clock, and then at night. But then, what if it was more random, you know? But then you just say,
Hmm.
okay, there's no train coming, the arms are up. I'm just gonna cross, boom, train. Like that's just scary. I treat train tracks the same way I treat a road, as if I'm crossing it.
Yeah, same.
I don't stop, but I look way ahead of getting to it.
Yeah, same. And I feel like you could see a train coming from at least a mile away.
Yeah,
And if you can't cross that train track with a mile head start, you deserve. I mean, you don't deserve,
you
but
wildin', man.
you have to be asleep or something. Like,
So I guess we could also talk about like just hacking in general, but not talk about doing it, but about the things that could happen because of it. Because we didn't really think about that. Like transportation as in like planes, trains, boats. If you hack into these systems, that's a lot of things that could go wrong.
yeah, I actually didn't think about that for real, but I think like, sorry,
Hello? I've lost my co-host. Guess it's just me. I guess look what happened. They just hacked into us right now. Golly. They didn't want us talking about this. But I'm still gonna talk about it. You back?
hello, I'm
Yeah.
back,
Oh God. You're about to release some secrets that nobody wanted out.
bro.
It's the second time this happened.
Dude, my laptop. So my laptop gave me the warning.
Yes.
21% battery left. Plug it, plug me in,
Oh,
plug me in.
oh, forget it.
Dude, I
Forget it.
swear
False
I
alarm.
plugged it
False
in.
alarm, everybody.
I thought it was the government hacking me. I was like, oh no, I said too much. I
Golly.
said too much, y'all.
Mm.
But nah, I don't even remember the question. No, my son. Jeez.
Just talk about
Oh
hacking in
yeah.
general.
Hmm. Imagine somebody hacked airplane flights
Hmm.
and they had nefarious reasons to like make a plane crash or something. Because I have a friend who works in air traffic control,
Hmm.
and from what I heard, it's pretty stressful because you have to basically make sure airplanes don't collide with each other in the air.
Hmm.
And imagine that get hacked though, and planes just flying blind. They can't tell where the other planes are.
Yeah.
That would be kind of crazy.
What did we do before we had the aviation towers, though?
I think we always had it. Or maybe that's not true. I haven't gone down that rabbit hole yet. That would be something that we would have to go down the rabbit hole about.
Yeah.
Hold up,
Well,
I just making sure. All right, good. We good now.
okay, okay. So we asked the question. Well, we'll still talk about some more hacking stuff. Uh, Trains, planes, it'll all be catastrophic. And
Yeah, nothing, anything you could think of, it can be catastrophic. Ooh, one that you might not think of. What if they hack cars? Because you know cars have computers in them nowadays.
mhm,
What if they hack people's vehicles?
still catastrophic. I've seen it on TV shows. You just accelerate the car by yourself, and like you can't stop, you can't press the brakes, you can't get out.
You
It's
could
just
kidnap people easy.
yes, exactly. These
Wow.
self-driving cars, yeah.
Yeah, Tesla.
Mm.
This is why I'll never get a Tesla. Nobody ain't trying to kidnap me with my Tesla.
Yeah, you're very paranoid. Like this episode is all about you. So we,
Hey, I learned it from living in a crazy place,
uh,
and then the whole world is crazy, man. To be
yeah,
honest,
yeah, that's fair.
you gotta be careful.
Hmm. So we talked about if this was something like, let's say, Google, for example, instead of Facebook that went down or got taken down, what would the public response be? What would your response be personally?
Google,
Yeah.
Google owned the whole world, dude. So if Google goes down, they're taking half the planet, like
Man,
like half the planet's technology probably.
yeah. For me, it'll be like,
So
it'll be astronomically worse. And then on the plus side, there's a lot of people that feel like Facebook and Instagram are deleterious. I think that's the word I want to use to like society because of the content that's
mhm.
on there. So they'll feel like, okay, well, Facebook is gone, Instagram is gone. hopefully TikTok too. They just go away,
Oh
and
God,
now
please.
the world's like I wouldn't say a better place, but it would feel like a different place, like the old school before Facebook came around. Because at first
Yeah,
Facebook was actually pretty decent and pretty good. It was a good idea. It's just become something way, way worse now.
yeah, yeah. I feel like every bad thing on the planet, well, not every, most bad things on the planet came from like a actual good reason they were trying to make it,
Hmm.
but then somebody else thought like, oh, I could use this for this bad thing instead.
That brings up a Jurassic Park 3 reference where Alan says most bad things are built on good intentions.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I know like because we should just talk about documentary now at this point because the documentary pretty much covered this. Like all those guys. So basically, the documentary called what is it called again? Social
Spoiler
Dilemma.
alert. Yeah.
Man, yeah, that's true. But should I spoil it though?
Let's be vague. Well, let's talk about the facts because the facts are still gonna be there regardless.
So the people who were interviewed for the show were all people who were previous employees for some social media or they work in tech.
Hmm.
Um, and I forgot what I was going to say. No, damn it, my brain.
It's all good. It's all good. Let's say that the guy who worked on Reddit had to do a code to get off of Reddit. He had to write
Oh
something to
yeah,
get off of Reddit.
yeah. I mean, because I also try not to spoil the thing because I feel like if you I took so much notes, dude.
Yeah, me too.
I could literally give a play by play everything that they said in the whole documentary
Man.
right now.
Hmm.
But so I guess I'll give the three main facts that I learned from the documentary.
Okay.
Hopefully that don't spoil stuff.
Yeah.
One, I learned that they don't actually sell our data in the way that we think.
Hmm.
So now people think, oh, they're selling our data. That means like they're selling like my name, my friends, and how to like basically my credit card information and all that. No, they're not selling that.
Yeah.
What they're selling is advertisement.
Hmm.
So they're making you basically advertisement. Like let's say that you're a cow to slaughter, and
Hmm.
advertisement is a slaughterer.
Mm.
Basically, we're cows to the advertisement, basically.
So
So they sell us to them.
what I could add to that is people were saying that things like Google, which you think is free, is not free. We are the products. We pay
Mhm.
in the perception change, our data that we put in there, what we look for, and the choices and lack of choices that we make.
Exactly. So, excuse me. So, like, that's what they're selling. And then the second thing I learned is how are they selling it,
Hmm.
and or how they get you to stick around. And basically, what I learned is that they make their things purposefully addictive and tailored towards people so that they could retain you. I actually have notes on that because I thought that was an interesting fact. Let me see if I could find it real quick.
Hmm.
It said tech companies have three main goals. They have an engagement goal, a growth goal, and an advertising goal.
Hmm.
The engagement goal is to drive up usage, keep you scrolling. The growth goal is to keep you coming back and have you invite friends to it. And an advertising goal is to make money from advertising to you and others. And then each goal individually is powered by an algorithm.
Hmm.
And the most, I guess, what's the word you use? Deleterious?
Deleterious, deleterious.
Yeah. The worst one to me is, or the most detrimental one to me is
Uh-huh.
the engagement goal
Hmm.
because that's how you will get addicted to it. So you
Hmm.
want to keep them scrolling. You don't care what you show them,
Yeah.
keep them scrolling. And I think that's part of the problem why we have so much disinformation. Because if people find the disinformation more entertaining
Hmm.
for whatever reason, like it's for instance, if you're like a conspiracy theorist,
Yeah.
okay, algorithm identified that you like to see conspiracies, it'll just keep showing you conspiracy after conspiracy after conspiracy.
Hmm.
If and then you could become radicalized that way, you
Yes.
know.
Hmm.
Um, if you're like the Russian government and you want to impact America in some way, you could spread disinformation using social media. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's what happened. Actually, that has already happened.
Mhm.
You know, Russia used social media to spread disinformation and affect American politics.
Yeah.
You know, so anyway, go ahead.
So my biggest issue kind of was
Oh,
that.
wait, sorry. And then the third thing, there was one more thing. So the third thing was um, how it's affecting people's ability to have interpersonal relationships. That was the next thing that was also
Yeah,
part of it.
yeah.
Go ahead.
So there's an addiction to social media we know about, but it feels like no one behind the scenes is actually trying to figure it out, even though they know how bad it can be.
Yeah, because there's no monetary incentive to do that.
Exactly. To cure this addiction would be harmful for their revenue.
The shareholders will be affected.
Hmm.
Um, their revenue will be affected, as you said. So, you know, I'm not trying to bring politics into this, but I've had discussions with people on the right where they feel like the government should not be involved in anything, and government should just let people decide with their dollar what happens.
Hmm.
But the problem is, if you allow people to decide with a dollar, what happens when the people are being manipulated, which is
Exactly.
exactly what's happening with social media.
Hmm.
Um, so now people are paying into something that's detrimental to humankind without even knowing it, and you expect the companies to be moral. The companies are very likely not likely to do that because they're making profit, and that's all they really care about.
Hmm. So
So go ahead.
when I ask you in our talks offline about notifications, because I know people, like people that hate notifications, like if they see one red circle on their phone, they have to figure out why it's there. And I'm that way kind
Mhm.
of because if I already looked and it's still there, it's like, why are you there?
Right.
And then the thing is that when you see the red circle, let's say you see it on Facebook, you go into Facebook, you go to notifications to get rid of it, but then you see something that looks fun, then you look down, and now you're scrolling again, and you never really went to see what notification was. You get back out the app, and you see, oh, it still have a red circle there. You go back in the app again, it's like a cycle. So that's one reason why I got off Facebook, because I took off Facebook notifications from my phone so I would not go back in at all. At all.
Hmm. One thing that I did was YouTube used to be that for me.
Yeah, I
YouTube
know.
would
You
give me a
told me that.
notification,
Hmm.
and I would have to like check it out.
Yeah.
So what I did was YouTube had this thing where you could do batch notification basically.
Hmm.
So at a certain time of day, it would be like you have 19 videos or whatever.
Yeah.
And that helps me a lot because no, because basically throughout the day, I wouldn't necessarily check them, but I
Hmm.
would have to get them off my screen. So I'd be like swiping right, swiping right, swiping right to get them off. Or I would have to hit clear all.
Hmm.
But now it's just one thing that says, oh, there are 31 videos
Yeah.
that are new. And I could just swipe one thing instead of having to swipe each 31 video individually. So that saved me a bunch of time.
I would do that, but sometimes there's videos like I don't know. There's some stuff that I would like to watch when it comes out, just to be there for the
Yeah,
premiere.
they got you. They got you, bro. They got you in the algorithm. They know. They know you're not going to change.
Yeah.
Yeah, push
I
these
mean,
notifications.
I could change though. Trust me.
Yeah, yeah,
Look,
yeah. I know, I know.
if I couldn't change, I'll be stuck on like mobile gaming, which I hate, but I still enjoy
Oh
games
man.
sometimes.
Yeah, that's the next thing we should talk about, dude.
We are what the games take from us that we don't even know about.
Because
What
it's like,
what any app takes from us that we don't know about. Okay, sorry, I'm going to go crazy right now, but it's okay. You go ahead. You go ahead. You go ahead.
because it honestly is all addicting. They all so actually, and that's another note I had, is that they actually have a playbook of how to suck people in and get
Hmm.
them addicted to these stuff. Let me see if I can find it. The person who invented it, I have his name. Hold on. Boom. His name is Chamath Palihapitiya.
Hmm.
Okay, I definitely ruined his name. But basically, he's the guy who invented the playbook for growth manipulation
Mm,
that everybody in Silicon Valley uses now. And I'm guessing it's spread across the world because I've also been seeing the same techniques used by games who do microtransactions and stuff too.
gotcha.
So they basically made a playbook that helps to grow. And again, what's the point of growing? What's the goal? Drive up usage, keep you scrolling.
Yep.
So basically get you addicted. That's what that basically translates to. And he is a guy who invented how to do it because that was part of their business model, I think, when they invented Facebook. Get
Gotcha.
you scrolling, keep you there, so that they could keep advertising to you, so they could keep profiting.
Yeah, that's
And
wild, man.
even video games do that now. Like that's why in video games they have daily quests or daily
Oh yeah,
tasks that you
you
have to
gotta do
do.
those dailies, man. You gotta
You
collect
have
it.
to do it daily. If you miss a day, you're gonna fall behind. Somebody else
Mm-hmm.
gonna be better than you,
Mm-hmm.
or you're gonna fall behind. I know you can't compete because everybody else have stronger stuff.
Yep.
So it's like, you're addicted. You have to play the game every day. And for me, that doesn't work because what'll happen is if I start feeling like a game is a chore,
Yep.
I done. I ain't come out here to work. I come out here to play.
Yeah. It's like almost all the games have dailies too. Like, cause it's a good idea. You have to come back at least once a day to play. But then, oh, okay. There was a game I downloaded. I remember the name of the game. I opened the game. I got an ad. I was like, okay, this is
Dang.
interesting. I clicked option to turn off the music. I got an ad. I'm like, well, I played one match and I got an ad. I uninstalled it because like it's like, come on, like take it easy.
That's wild. Yeah. Although I would say some games I like kind of how they have their ad system is like to speed up opening this chest or to skip something.
Yeah, I
You watch
understand
an
that.
ad. I
Yeah.
could see that. Like that's fine. You gotta make your money. It's
Mm-hmm.
fair. Like I understand that you have to make your money,
Mm-hmm.
but I wish they would. I would prefer to be charged up front than to watch a bunch of ads.
Yeah.
To be honest, because my time in my mind, I'm at least worth $40 an hour,
Okay.
right? I
Yeah.
think most humans are probably worth no less than $20 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So if the game gonna cost me what, $5, $9, but I have to watch an ad each time, that's a lot of time building up.
Yeah.
I'd rather just pay you up front and buy the game and just play the game with no ads.
Yeah. Even with the games that we play normally, the ads is like you could pay $1 and then ads are gone forever. In
Yeah,
some games, that's good because you still get to speed up your chest or do this or do that. But in some games, you get nothing for it. So it's like, why are you taking
yeah,
away? Well, that one game put it in afterwards. But like, why are you not giving me the stuff that I will get for watching the ads? Because they
right.
they have to push ads. And in the recent games I'm playing with my wife now, to get rid of ads, you have to have a monthly subscription to get rid of ads. Excuse me? Almost uninstalled. If it was my wife and I playing together, I'd uninstall the game. That's
Yeah,
wild. That's wild.
that
But
is wild. But I mean, like, look at World of Warcraft. That
mm,
one is a monthly subscription, and I always wonder what idiot paying monthly to play a game like World of Warcraft. I never played World of Warcraft, so I don't know what I'm talking about.
mm-hmm,
But I can't see why I would be paying a monthly subscription to a game that's like you're just doing the same thing over and over every day, pretty much. You're doing raids,
mm-hmm.
you like farming for like equips. I don't know.
Well, there's more games like that, more recent and newer games as well, like that, where you pay monthly for different things.
Well, I know like League of Legends. I feel like some of my audience might not know because they're like from an older generation.
Mm,
Because I know who are watching right now.
gotcha.
Or even like they might be somebody who don't play video games.
Mm-hmm,
But um, there's a game called League of Legends
mm-hmm.
where basically you it's like imagine chess,
Yeah.
but it's like live action chess, and you have to basically go from your side of the map to the other side, destroying things along the way, like objectives along the way, until you get to the enemy base, destroy the base.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually a 5-on-5 team. Um, and I can give more details, but I don't think it's necessary. But in that game, it's a free to play game, but they don't use ads
Mm,
and they don't have any subscriptions.
okay.
All they do is sell skins. Like they sell what a skin is basically is like a aesthetic thing to change how your character looks. So like I could be Kurt and then I could change his shirt to a different, like I could change his whole entire appearance actually, not just his shirt, but like how he looks completely. I could make him into like a dinosaur, for example,
Mhm.
stuff like that. So they sell the skins, and that's all they sell, and they make enough money that they running a profitable company.
Yeah.
Granted, nowadays they also get into esports, which is a new thing that's come out. Actually, it's an old thing, but it's becoming more mainstream.
Yeah.
Esports is basically people playing video games professionally and making money playing these video games. And
I don't.
similarly to like Facebook, they sell ads.
Mhm.
That's kind of like the point. Like, hey guys, we got a lot of eyes on us watching people play video games. Advertise with us. That's basically what they do,
Like
and they
sponsors and
make
things like
money
that.
off of that too. Hmm?
Like sponsors and things like that.
Yeah, they have sponsors, but they also sell ads too.
Okay.
Because, like, for instance, I remember League of Legends before when they first started, they didn't have many like logos and stuff. And nowadays they have stuff like the State Farm Analyst Desk
Oh,
or like the Geico Recap, like stuff like that. And they never
gotcha.
had that before.
Okay. Hmm. Interesting. What a hole you went out.
Yeah, that was definitely a rabbit hole.
What I was gonna say and add is like games take stuff from us, but our phone also takes stuff from us as well. Actually, there's
Yeah.
many notes I missed talking about in this whole conversation, but it's whatever. So let's talk
Dude,
about.
I have so much notes. If we stay talking about all the notes, we would be here till 5 o'clock talking.
So let me see. What our phones take from us, not just games. What our phones take. 'Cause we don't know what our phones are doing. They could say our phones aren't listening, but as we found out, the internet is endless, so they could listen forever if they wanted to. Anyways, calm down. If I'm having an argument with my wife and it gets heated, and the police come because Alexa gave the information to somebody to call the police, then obviously I think my phone can hear me talking too.
Yeah. That's
There's been
why I don't use those things. But go
there's
ahead.
been numerous times I've been talking to somebody. My phone is not in my hand, it's in my pocket. We talk about, let's say, trampolines. Then I go on Amazon, I scroll, and then there's a trampoline ad. I'm like, what? Like
Yep.
I didn't search Google, I didn't talk about it in text message. I spoke to somebody and it comes up on my phone. So you can't tell me they're not listening. They probably not listening all
Yep.
the time, but they're listening because they have to make their money.
Yeah. Actually, there's a game, Pokemon Unite. Every time I log into that game and I have my earphones on,
Hmm.
it'll say call ended. Why is it saying call ended when I just start the game?
Wow.
That's kind of, I'd be like, you
Wait,
know what?
when you start the game,
Yes, I start the game and it'll be like call ended.
where does it say that? Your phone says that to you?
In my earphones, basically these earphones, when they connect to
Oh.
a call,
Hmm.
it'll say like when the call ends, it'll say call ended. Like for instance, if we hang up from this right now, it's gonna be like call ended.
Huh. That's interesting.
So if I never had these earphones, I would never know that a call is being dropped from this game.
That's wild because the game has a in-game chat, so you're probably switching over to that one.
Probably, but it's wild. Like, why are you? To me, that means that it's recording me all now.
Hmm.
You know,
I tell you, your paranoid mind is not gonna enjoy the end of the show. Like,
it's not. That's why I always careful about what I say, even when I'm not
yeah.
talking. Like, or I just don't care about what I say. Like, I have two sides to me. One
Hmm.
side is very careful,
Yeah.
and the other side is like, you know what? They're listening anyway. I'm gonna just say what I want because they're gonna do what they're gonna do with the information anyway.
E. Miller, hello, welcome. Welcome to the stream.
Oh, did I tell you I'm learning German?
You shared something with me about that, yes.
Yeah, I learned in German, man. So let me say hello in German. Hello.
I don't like you sometimes. Like you, you wild. Oh my God.
A lot of stuff in German sound a lot like English,
Mm,
to be honest. Like for instance, sister
yeah.
is Schwester,
Mm,
you know?
yeah.
Brother is Bruder. It's like stupid, like that's not that much different. But
Yeah, yeah,
okay,
yeah.
cool.
So one comment I want to go back and talk about is
Wait, wait,
attention.
wait. I'm not done talking about phones
Okay, go ahead.
because with phones, it's basically like you have everything at your fingertips. So now it's even harder to not do it. Like, with computers, you have to purposefully go on your computer
Mm-hmm.
and do what you're gonna do. You
Dude,
know?
not to cut you off, but like I would be here in the office on my computer with two big screens in front of me, and I'm like, how do I make deviled eggs? I would pick up my phone and Google it when I could just use a computer.
Yep. Same. Like the phone is like I feel like the phone is the most addictive thing
Yeah.
that ever came, especially now that they started making it more and more like a computer.
Mm-hmm.
It's so addictive. Like, but I feel like it's also a good thing. Like nowadays, if I don't know something, I can just literally Google it. I don't have to like wait till I get home to go on the computer to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, now I have social media at my fingertips all the time. I have YouTube at my fingertips all the time. I have video games at my fingertips all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm already a person who's easily like, I get bored or I lose focus on things.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the phone is just there to like, hey, Fion, hey, come take, hey, don't do that thing that you were supposed to do. Don't clean the house. Come and
Yeah.
play on come and play on me. Like,
It's so bad that there's actually a thing called, I forgot what it's called, but it's like a ghost vibration where you feel your phone vibrating when it's not actually vibrating. So
no, I don't
you
get that.
so
Because
you
I
have to
always
you
have
have to
my
go.
phone on do not disturb.
Yeah, you're a good one. I like that.
But is it a bad thing too? Because I always keep missing calls. People be
Mm,
calling me for work
yeah,
because I have my office phone forwarded to my cell phone.
yeah.
And I'd miss all the calls. I'd be like, sorry, I missed your call. I just calling back.
Mm.
So luckily, it still works out, but it's still kind of dangerous too because I also have missed some like important things like doctor's appointments and stuff because they call me and then I have to call them back the next day, stuff like that.
So why don't you just accept the calls only?
Nah, I like to keep do not disturb on at all times because then you have these like robot calls.
Mm,
And sometimes what I do nowadays is if I see a number that I don't know,
yeah.
I just answer and hit mute
Oh.
and wait till the person talk.
Hmm.
And then I'll be like, oh, sorry, hi, yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
And then I'll explain to them. Sometimes I explain to them like, yeah, I know that they have these like fake phone calls, but let me do like the new age kids. Now that they have these, now that they have these fake phone calls, I the let people talk first, and people usually understand.
Within the past, what, 30 years, this is now obsolete. It still means the same thing, but now you have to do this or even this.
What I did not know about those other two.
I mean, you hold your phone like this. I mean, like
Uh,
this, and then
uh-huh.
like this, and then the kids do this, obviously, because they're not, their
Yeah.
hands ain't big enough to actually grab the phone.
I thought that you did this because it's supposed to look like the phone.
No, that was the first one. That's what we originally started with.
And then this was because it looked like the phone too.
Yeah, well, this is a kid holding the phone to me, but I hold my phone like
Uh,
this, like like this. I don't want to like you do this.
no, but this is supposed your hand's supposed to represent the phone.
Mm,
So my hand is the phone, so that's why I talk on the phone.
that
I
makes
like
sense. That
talk on
makes
the phone.
sense. That makes
Yeah,
sense.
that's what I thought. Yeah.
Then I have to do this technically.
There you go.
I never thought about it like that.
Oh man.
Okay, so now can I backtrack a little
Yeah.
bit? Okay.
Yeah,
So
gone.
I believe with the era where Twitter came out is where the downfall actually came. I won't say of society, but I will say of social media. Because
Okay.
Twitter made us evolve to have shorter attention spans. You can only type 140 characters to get your message across. So that means people are reading less and less and less. So even when you look at that time, articles were like this long because they want to keep you there for that time and then it's gone. And what that does, it allows issues to pop up, be a thing, go viral, and then go away.
Yeah.
Because that same guy that had to write the code to get off of Reddit, I think it was him that brought about the social media addiction thing. He started a program for it, and there was a big, big craze about it because people wanted to talk about it. But then, just like
Mm-hmm.
everything else, it just went away. People just went back to their lives, and that's because we don't actually value things for as long as I personally think that we should. Even things
Mm-hmm.
like shootings in schools, people getting attacked by the police, people dying. Like nothing lasts as long as I feel like it should last. It's always on to the next thing. What's the next challenge? Who's the next celebrity that messed up? Like it's always something happening so rapidly and so fast. You don't have time to hold on to things that are actually important.
Yeah, it's hard to make change because nobody keeping at it. They just move on to the next thing,
Hmm.
basically.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's kind of. I mean, I think that it not it does. Blah, what am I saying? I don't think that necessarily people are. Everybody is moving on. I think there's still people like working on certain things in the background,
definitely.
but I agree with you. It kind of messed up that it's basically like the whole world has a short attention span now.
Yeah, but you have to follow the trends. You can't be writing a 5 paragraph page when you know people are gonna read the first 2 lines and pop off.
Yeah. Hmm. So what do you think are like solutions for that though? Because I
There's
mean, you don't want people writing like long paragraphs of BS either.
I mean, I'm not saying that the paragraphs won't have any value. It's just that they have to be more succinct in what they're saying and put all the good information in the beginning or at the end.
Uh,
You
that's what I'm
know?
going to say actually.
Yeah.
So at my job, um, what we do is we have a bluff,
Hmm.
and bluff is a acronym, acronym or acronym.
Hmm.
It basically means bottom line upfront, BLUF.
Yeah.
So you write the whole thing that you wrote, and then up front you might put some bullet points that basically is like a TLDR
Or an
of
abstract.
everything below. Yeah,
Hmm.
so that your leadership, if you're sending it to to leadership, they could see at a glance what they need to know, and then if they want more details, they could read the entire thing.
This sounds like a resume because that's what resumes will become as well.
Yeah,
And that's part
but
of.
I think that's a good thing because you always want to make sure that people get what you're trying to say as soon as possible
Hmm.
in case that they lose interest and don't read the rest of it.
So, like you,
Yeah, like me.
I would send, a video that I like, and like a minute later, he's like, dude, I am bored. I'm like, the intro is still playing.
I get bored real quick. I
You
can't help
do.
it.
That's amazing. I have to be very selective when I send you. I know like you're not gonna be able to watch the whole thing. And you try because I sent it to you, but I don't want to put him through this.
I don't. So what I do nowadays is I skim through.
Mm,
So I might watch the beginning, be like, all right, this boring. Let me skim through so I can at least talk to him about this because I know he gonna probably want to talk about it.
man. Um, do you well I know your answer already, but I'll just ask for the sake of the podcast. Do you feel like social media is a drug?
I wouldn't call it a drug because when I think of drug, I think about chemical, chemical based stuff.
Yeah.
But I do think it's addictive for sure.
Hmm. And I feel like what they said in the documentary is that people right now are more fragile, more anxious, and more depressed than they've ever been before.
Yep.
Because your life is always out there. You always have to post the best photos, have the funniest comments. There's a lot going on in society right now because of social media. And it only takes
Hmm.
like one bad comment, like in the documentary, one bad comment, and the good ones before this they fade away. The one comments there, the ones after fade away.
Hmm.
You just focus on this one comment. Like they say, let's say your nose is big, like, and that's all you can think of. Even though everybody's like, you look so pretty, you look so nice, but that one comment is always gonna be there in the
Yep.
back of your head.
Yep. I mean, that won't work on me.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
grew up getting big nose jokes. My uncle used to call me jacket pocket nose, dude.
I don't even know what I
No,
mean.
you know what the jackets back in the days in the 80s, 90s, they had them big pockets on the
Whoa,
front.
yeah.
Yeah. He used to say jacket pocket nose.
Damn.
It's like, bruh, nobody can top that one. I'm
No,
sorry.
no, man.
Um, but what was I gonna say? From the thing, right?
Hmm.
Where, oh, about kids being having social anxiety and all these things too. They were saying that basically kids are having unrealistic views about their own body because of social media as well. And I
Yes.
remember this used to be a talking point about magazines back in the day,
Mm-hmm.
the modeling magazines, but now is commonplace because of social media, even worse. Because whereas like kids might see magazines that their parents buy magazines, but it wasn't as widespread because some people don't buy magazines or don't have it in the house.
Mm-hmm.
But now social media is everywhere. Kids using social media as early as like junior high.
What do you mean?
Some kids
Kids?
even
Kids use
they are
YouTube. YouTube is social media.
YouTube. So it's like I was talking to my wife the other day about that. Like I don't want my kids using social media. Like I don't even want them on YouTube. Like I want them to just basically do things in real life. And then maybe when they go to college they could start using social media. And she was like, that's a bit extreme.
I was just gonna say the same thing.
And I was like, and this was before I watched the documentary,
Oh
by the
no.
way.
Yeah.
And now it's like
Yeah.
I knew I had a feeling that they shouldn't be doing this.
I
Because
feel
even like one thing they said in the documentary was the people who like worked on this,
Mhm.
they don't even allow their kids to use it because they know how dangerous it is.
Mm, yeah. And I feel like the only thing here is that parents feel like they have to go with the times. Like if your kid is the only one in school without a phone, that's not gonna be a good time for them. And it's because of the way things are set up. So now you
They'll be
almost
all right.
kind of have to you don't want to do that to them though, because that's their mental health at state as well.
True, but they'll be all right.
Oh my
Because I
gosh.
remember back in the days, I wasn't always the best dressed. People used to rag on me for my pants. Oh, Fionn wearing Wrangler stranglers, you know. But guess what? You grow some thick skin, you know,
That's not
you
always gonna work. I had to learn the
figure
hard
out
way.
some other way to be cool.
No, I learned the hard way that you can't put your kids in your shoes because it's not always gonna work out. Because everybody's different.
I mean, I'm not saying that we should put them in situations that we know are gonna be harmful to them, but I guess we have to weigh the pros and the cons. Is it better that my kid have a phone where it's gonna be like distracting to them in class, where they're not gonna have good interpersonal interactions because they're busy texting, they're not gonna actually be interacting, they're not gonna learn life skills like how to flirt with girls or guys or whatever. Like
Mm.
I feel like you have to kind of balance the pros and the cons. Like, yeah, they're gonna get teased, but at least they'll have better social health. Like that's kind of how I think about it.
I understand that. I just don't want the tease it because there's always extremes, and I'm always afraid of the worst extremes. Like you get teased to the point where you want to be unalive, and like, that's the only fear that I have
Yeah,
in
I
this whole
feel that.
situation. And like that's another part of social media.
But then on the other hand,
I know you could
and
still
not to
get
like try
you
and
could
contradict
you
you,
could
it
get
could be the
bullied
same. You
on
can get,
social media. Yes. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, exactly.
So
Because now bullying is gone online.
it's like a cage now. Like it's just there's no escape from social media for the
Hmm.
most part. Because if you don't
Yeah,
do it, then they're gonna feel like they don't belong. They can get bullied for it, and then eventually they get all those feelings that lead to what we're talking about. And you don't want that. So you want to give them at least something. But then you don't want to give them a flip phone because then what's the point of giving them a flip phone? They can't do what everybody else is
oh,
doing.
they're definitely getting a flip phone.
I want to be able to be there to talk to your kids to help you talk to them out of everything because I understand what you're doing, but they're gonna need a lot of reinforcement that they matter and like there's a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah, yeah,
it's gonna be a lot of work, you know.
yeah. I don't know. I feel like my wife is gonna kind of pull me back in the opposite
Yeah,
direction,
balance
so
you
we're
out.
gonna balance out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay, okay, okay.
because yeah, she's not as extreme as I am
They're not
when
gonna
it
make.
comes to.
They are flip phones now. Samsung has a flip phone now.
Hmm.
It's a smartphone flip phone, but we're not talking about
Really?
those.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, I know you're talking about. I saw it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So you could like talk to somebody and you could have the phone on top of the table.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like screens. What do you call it?
Split screen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I think they're still gonna make flip phones because I have a flip phone for work, but it's just because it's a sturdier kind of phone.
Oh, another thing that we didn't talk about that we should have talked about back when we were talking about Google is
Mhm.
how much properties they own.
I know I wanted to, but
We
rabbits.
just kind of,
We're
yeah, we just
rabbits.
kind of skimmed over it.
I see a carrot, I'm gonna chase it.
Dude, Google owns approximately 232 companies.
Shee.
They have a total cost of about 20.89 billion.
Shee.
And basically, wherever they can do like internally, they just purchase the company that does it. Like they don't even outsource. They're like, you know what? We need we need some water. Let's buy Boss.
Oh,
Let's buy the whole company.
golly. You can imagine a regular person doing that? Like, wow, my grass looking kind of messed up. I'm gonna buy a lawn company. Like, what?
Yo. Oh man.
So that's why
They
you
own company.
go
They
ahead.
own social platforms, advertising platforms, and cybersecurity
Mhm.
companies.
And that's why we brought up if Google was to be hacked or go down, like that's a lot of things going down. If it's like if it was the same network that Facebook had,
Hmm.
if Google were to go down, all of these smaller companies would also go down as well because you can't log in to employees to pay them, you can't log in to sign in. And they deal with navigation, they deal with YouTube content creators, so YouTube will go down too. Like
Hmm.
imagine no YouTube. What would all of these kids on their phones do if YouTube just went away? They would go streaming, they go crazy. It'll be
They probably go to
pandemonium.
TikTok.
Oh,
Yeah.
it'll be
And
pan.
then that would really be deleterious.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah, doing stupid dances.
Oh golly.
Golly.
I
Just
mean,
uninstall the app, please.
and I feel like for me, TikTok, I don't like it because of what I know it can do to me. 'Cause when I do happen to go on TikTok, I'm there. 'Cause everything is funny.
Hmm.
But like I don't do it like probably like once a month I'll go on TikTok and just spend like an hour
Same,
there.
same.
Yeah.
But I know, so I have somebody in my life, a friend, a very close friend,
Uh-huh.
who is addicted to TikTok.
Same.
And I'd be like, golly, I just hear it. This, dude, I know all the TikTok songs.
That's the worst part. It's like you can't fall asleep with TikTok on. Please just stop. If you're going to fall
Y-
asleep, turn it off
Yes,
because it doesn't stop ever.
it just autoplay. Oh man, this close friend of mine, I'd be like, you gotta stop. You're addicted.
And like, and you try to say it in the nicest way possible, you know. You're not trying to be mean, but like sometimes you just gotta be mean.
Yeah,
You gotta choose. There's more to life.
yeah. Do you think that like social media and stuff is more addicting than like porn, for example?
I would say,
Oh,
mm,
prawns. I can't say that word. Dang, I forgot. Don't demonetize us, please.
what
We already
monitor?
not
What
making no
money?
money. Already not making any money.
They'll be like, this is a future check mark for you guys when you guys do
Yeah,
get
yeah.
money.
Y'all already done get one strike before you even start. But
You're
you think
on
it's more addictive or not?
TikTok?
No, prawns.
Oh, then social media.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm on it right now watching you guys. I mean, I feel like what also comes with prawns adds to the addiction. You know, you have like this visual stimulation and the other stimulation as well. So I think that in itself makes it a little bit more addictive because of what you get out of it.
Mm.
But the happiness and joy that you can get out of social media can also counterweigh that as well. So I don't know. I'm on the fence.
And then the bad news is you could just do both.
Yeah.
So you could literally have your phone in your hand watching prawns and then your computer YouTube channel on.
Computer, you could split screen on your phone now,
Yeah, but you want to watch the full screen. You don't want to split screen that.
but it's the same size. Unless you do your thing sideways on the whole screen, and that's what you want to do, then fine.
Or, I mean, I don't know why we're going into so much detail here, but let's just go down this rabbit hole. Or you could have it on your computer screen,
Uh-huh.
and then on your phone, you could be texting your family, like, hey guys, how y'all doing? And you watching prawns
Mm, you,
on
you,
Facebook, on Facebook.
why would you all be? You know what? Okay,
That's a good question. Why would you
that's
want to do
that's
that?
your
That's
first
gross.
thought. Like, I wonder how grandma's doing today.
Step bro, how you
You
doing?
gotta change that. You gotta search for something else if that's what your first thought will be.
That yeah,
It's
I just been saying
oh
but oh no. Oh no
wow.
no no.
Dude, every podcast we have one joke that just does it.
Oh man.
Wow. I remember
Once
grandma
every 2 weeks I get some abs, you know
I
what I'm
remember
saying?
I remember grandma's pancakes. Like, dude,
Or you might be on Facebook and your grandmother post something like a recipe.
oh gosh. I was gonna say
Anyway.
something, but it's TOS to the max. Anyways, let's go. Go ahead.
Yeah, we can't use dark humor on this platform. I'm
Oh
sorry.
man. I mean we can. No,
Although I feel like dark humor is the best.
yeah,
So
it
it's like,
is. Hmm. Speaking of that, I feel like what Twitch is doing is actually good, which is hard to say about them, in that they don't want any kids on their website. Plain and simple. And that's a good thing. If you're under 13, stay off of Twitch. You can't even disclose your age on Twitch, which I like. Well, not really, but if you disclose your age in a stream, you could get banned immediately because you're not supposed to. And if you're under 18, which most streams are, then you could get banned for saying how old you are.
mm,
So I think they're going in the right direction to kind of limit the impact of social media on the younger minds,
yeah,
which is a plus for them. I'll give them that.
yeah. And I mean, to be fair, Twitch is good because they don't sell to advertisers. At
Mm,
least not. They kind of do nowadays. They're starting to do it more.
yeah.
But initially, Twitch made their profit off of like the content creators
Hmm.
making their profit. So they take a percentage cut of your profit.
Yeah.
And I kind of wish they stayed with that, but I guess there's always more money to make. So now they get into advertising.
Or they're just not profitable and they try and make themselves profitable.
True. Potentially, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Something else I was gonna say. Let me see if I can find my notes here. All right, we talked about games being addicting. We talked about porn.
Hmm.
Now I kind of want to talk about something else in the social dilemma about selling data.
Okay.
So there's a browser called DuckDuckGo
Hmm.
that I've heard a lot of like right-wing people talk about because they're like, oh, Google is like tracking us and like selling our data.
Hmm.
Again, they don't sell your data in the way you're thinking. They just sell your attention, technically.
Hmm.
Um, but DuckDuckGo advertises as, oh, we don't sell your data.
Hmm.
But then they do the exact same thing as Google, which
Yep.
is they track what you look at, they track what your interests are, and then they keep pushing that kind of information to you over and over because they want to keep your attention
Hmm.
and basically sell your view to some advertiser. But they have a lot of people fooled, especially people in the right wing, into thinking, well, I'm more secure using this because they're not going to sell me the fake news, quote unquote,
Hmm.
that the liberal Google is trying to make me believe whatever. I don't know. They have a lot of conspiracies in the right.
But like we talked about, what we didn't talk about is that if you're in Alaska and you're
I probably
using
should stop bringing politics into this, by the way, because I feel like we might deter right wing people from watching our
the
podcast.
more people are coming to the comments screaming, let's go. But if you're in Alaska searching on Google and you're in Florida searching on Google, you get different results. If you're in China on Google and you're in America on Google, you get different results. Like everybody gets different results based on your past history and what you're interested in. Because there's algorithms that actually look at, let's say you're on TikTok, for example, and there's like a dog video, and then there's a dancing video, then there's like an art video. There's actually algorithms that track how long you look at these videos to give you more videos like that. So if you're using Google or the search engine, they look at what you're looking for, how long you are reading the page where the stuff are, and that's what they sell to you. That's what they give to you the next time you come back.
Hmm. In some cases, it's helpful. Like when I'm at work and I Googling like how to code something,
Hmm.
it helps me a lot because they already like start finding me like they get right to the point of what I need instead of me having to like search for a long time.
Yeah.
So in some cases, it is good. You can find information you need faster.
Hmm.
But then in other cases, it's bad because if I like go down, like there was a case in the documentary that talked about. I want to see if I could find the person's name here. Kyrie Irving.
Oh yeah.
He's a basketball player or
Hmm.
ex-basketball player. He went down the rabbit hole of the Earth being flat, and he started to believe it
Hmm.
because Google was just throwing him all the information about the Earth being flat, the Earth being flat. He couldn't find any information about the Earth being round at all,
Yeah.
or any evidence of the Earth being round, because he started down that previous rabbit hole.
Hmm.
And later on, he had to apologize for believing it and he blamed it on basically going down the rabbit hole on Google.
Wait a minute.
Guess what happened? Guess what happened?
This is not good for our brand, but go ahead.
Yeah, we literally on a Google fight, bad talking Google right
No, we
now.
bad talking rabbit holes, and that's our whole thing.
I mean, rabbit holes, everything that we do in life has it could be bad and it could be good,
Hmm.
but it all depends on how you do it.
Yeah.
And that's why in life you need balance, right?
Hmm.
There's no such thing as something that's perfectly good or something that's perfectly bad. There's always like a spectrum.
Yeah. What were you
So
going to say? I sorry for cutting you off.
I was gonna say, guess what happened when he like apologized for like believing in the flat Earth?
I
Some
don't.
students was like, "Oh, the round earthers got to him."
Oh yeah.
I was like,
Oh, man. It's crazy, man. I want to one day go on a fresh YouTube, like delete my entire history and look at one video and see like the progression of videos I get after that. Like what's the autoplay gonna give me based on where I
well,
start.
well, I know that happens for sure on YouTube because on YouTube, I've literally seen my suggested videos change over time
Hmm.
based on whatever I was interested in at the moment.
I feel like it's too instant
No, it's very quick. Yeah,
because
it's
I
very
was
quick.
my suggested used to be like gaming stuff, a couple podcasts and things like that. And one day I watched like Nickelodeon All Star Brawl videos, and now it's like everywhere. It's like stop. Like it's
Yep,
just one day. And
yep,
it only takes like 2 or 3 videos for algorithm to be like, oh, guess we gotta change now, and then so
yep.
I tell my
It's so
son,
it's like,
please do not use my YouTube for anything. If you do, let me know exactly what you watched and when, so I can delete it from the history. Because then there'll just be a bunch of kid stuff coming up. I don't want that either.
mm-hmm,
It's wild.
yep. But going back to talking about like the algorithm pushing these things in your face,
Hmm.
you know about that guy who like went to some place and shut up everybody because he was trying to free some kids or something
Oh
like that?
yeah, the pizza something.
Pizzagate.
Yes, Pizzagate.
That literally happened because of what we're talking about right now, like the algorithm pushing conspiracies to people who are looking for conspiracies.
Yeah.
And it just happens that people who believe in conspiracies are often crazy.
Hmm.
No, I'm not saying that people should not believe in conspiracies. I do think it's a fun little mental exercise.
Yeah.
But I also think that if you believe in a conspiracy, you have to take it with a grain of salt because it's
Hmm.
very likely that it's not true.
Yeah.
But there are people who 100% believe every conspiracy that they believe. Like it's like there's no
Yeah.
way you could tell them that it's not true.
Hmm. We'll get
And
to that.
basically, this guy, conspiracy theorist, gone down a rabbit hole. Google start saying anybody who looking for conspiracies, let's start pushing this thing to them because other people who look at conspiracies have been looking at this thing too.
Hmm.
So it's like basically suggesting things to people based on what other people are doing because they're doing something similar to you.
Yeah.
And then from this, I went down the rabbit hole about like this is how people get radicalized because maybe you look into like maybe one day I look into like how to build a gun. I don't know. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Now Google pushing how to build a bomb. Oh, ISIS.
Hmm.
Oh, or some other
Yeah.
um, local radical group.
Hmm.
And now you becoming radicalized because now you start hanging out in their forums. Now you start
Yeah.
interacting with them more. And now you gone down that rabbit hole towards a path that's going to end in you probably taking somebody else's life.
Yeah.
So
So
it's very dangerous.
yeah, and I feel like I think we talked about us personally being able to not do these things, and it takes a lot of mental controls to that. But I feel like the levels that they go through to get into your psyche and like go into your mind, it's like a whole new playing field if you're not prepared to say no to social media or say no to notifications or just stop scrolling. If you don't have the strong-willed personality to do that, it's easy to fall into, keep scrolling, keep checking, look at this,
Hmm.
click this, click this, click this. Like when I search for information, I search for the ones that I don't believe first, and then I search for what I do want to find because sometimes I feel like I can't find anything that's true to me. I only find things that contradict what I'm looking for.
Mm.
Like I'm trying to be converted or something.
Normally, too, what I do is I make sure I check my sources. So I know like a few trusted sources like Forbes magazine
Hmm.
or like the Huffington Post
Hmm.
or anything from the CDC or any other like public health organization,
Yeah.
um, NPR, like these general places that I know they might be biased. Of course, like I think everybody's gonna be biased
Yeah.
for something.
Eventually.
But generally speaking, I think that these guys are biased in a positive direction.
Yeah.
And I guess, and that's the problem too. Like people who like, for instance, if I'm radicalized, I'm gonna think whatever I believe is the right direction.
Hmm.
So that it becomes problematic when you say something subjective like this is the right direction, but I still gonna say it. Basically, if I think like these sources are good sources, I'm gonna use them. But I guess that's another thing that the documentary was talking about, which is nowadays, because of all the misinformation, nobody knows what truth is anymore.
Yep.
Nobody know what a fact is anymore because
Hmm.
everybody could claim whatever they say is a fact on the internet.
Yeah. So I don't know if these comments are like late, but even let's talk about cyberbullying, which we talked about before. And that's a whole new ball game. Because before, bullying was almost like a personal thing. It was you against the bully and everybody looking. They could be helping you, but they're not. But now with cyberbullying, I feel like it's become a different monster where you get bullied, but everybody else could come in and they could like the comment about you that's like you don't like. So you could see the amount of people that really aren't there for you.
Hmm.
And that's crazy.
And you know, as humans, we more easily take in and recognize negativity more
Hmm.
than positive stuff.
Hmm.
And it could be like a social, I mean, not a social, it could be a evolutionary thing.
Yeah.
You know, to avoid danger, you have to pay more attention to negative stuff, or else you could be dead.
Hmm.
But the problem is, now we live in a society that's mostly safe. So remembering the negative is not really keeping you alive, it's actually hurting you instead.
Yeah. So
And
what?
then that goes back to like, you know, news playing like nowadays, news showing people getting killed, like literally on screen,
Yeah.
is like basically traumatizing the world with stuff that they would not have normally seen.
Yeah.
Like I have like a lot of black people have PTSD, even though we've never been shot at from a cop. We
Hmm.
most of us have PTSD when it comes to police, just
Yeah.
because we keep seeing people who look like us on screen in these scenarios.
Speaking of that, do you feel like it's also not so much their fault with what we learned right now? Like those people could actually have been given images and videos about black people that made them feel a certain way about them based on like one search that was like a general search that became, you know, polarized because of the algorithm.
Like a rabbit hole kind of thing.
Hmm.
Maybe, but I feel like, well, before I talk about that, I want to talk about this thing about the child getting bullied in school
Okay.
in the chat. I think that I agree with what they say, what the person's saying in the chat,
Hmm.
because you definitely want to build your child up to not succumb to peer pressure.
Hmm.
And peer pressure is always going to be around. It's like nobody's immune. Like I wouldn't say nobody's immune to it, but nobody can avoid it.
There's always an
You're gonna
aspect
get,
of it that's gonna come back to you, whether it's a
yeah,
word
like
said
as
or
an
something.
adult,
Hmm.
as a kid, as an old person, you're always gonna have somebody potentially peer pressuring you. So the sooner you learn to handle that, the better it's going to be for your life in the long run because some people are people pleasers. Like you just say yes to everything because you don't want people to like dislike you. And sometimes
Mm-hmm.
you have to learn to like set boundaries. You have to learn to set standards for yourself. You have to learn to say no.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely agree that it's probably good to teach your kid like, hey, it's okay to be an individual. It's okay to not try to be like everybody else.
Yeah.
Even though it's easier to be like everybody else,
Mm-hmm.
but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's the most beneficial thing to do.
You know, I like that this is an interactive podcast where we can talk to our viewers, but then our viewers be sending us on some different rabbit holes altogether. Because now, Emailer is talking about how TikTok videos can be seen on Instagram and on Facebook. So, like, when
Yeah.
it forces you to want to get that original app. And these apps are so integrated now, so it's like you may as well just get them because if you're looking at, let's say, Instagram from Twitch, like you go on somebody's page, they have an Instagram page, and you click on that, they'll take you to like a web-based Instagram page. And you
Hmm.
scroll once, and it's like, Instagram's better on the app. Get the app. And you can't use it anymore unless you get the app.
Mm. And too, is also on YouTube. YouTube now has TikTok like shorts.
Mm-hmm.
So, because again, like what you said, like it's the same issue that happened with Twitter, right? They want to cut it down to this like 100, 120 characters, 140 characters, whatever it
Mm-hmm.
is.
Now it's
But
like
now they're doing
30
it with
seconds
videos.
and 1 minute. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like we shortening people's attention span on purpose because people back in the days, you listen to a 2 hour podcast or even an all day radio show.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, 30 seconds, you gotta get your thing across. You
Yeah.
gotta entertain me in 30 seconds, or else I'm moving on.
Mm-hmm.
It's perfect for people like me because I get bored easily. But then it's also bad for people like me because now I keep getting that dopamine hit every time. So it reinforces
It
me needing to
reinforces
have it.
like I need it now or I'm not getting it at all. Move on.
Yeah, which
So
is
then
bad.
you asked a question about how do you fix that. So how would you fix that for yourself?
I just don't watch those things.
You watch
And
longer
I also,
things?
yeah, I watch longer things on purpose. Even if I get bored, I just push through and just
Mm.
keep watching. Like, for instance, watching a documentary. I got bored with a documentary and I watched like less than half. And then later on, like 2 or 3 days later, I watched the rest.
Yeah. And you
So I
realize it
think,
was actually good at the end.
yeah, I'm glad I did because I was like, okay, I get the gist. This is a waste of time. I already get what y'all trying to say, but I actually glad I watched it because they actually did cover some stuff
Hmm.
that was different in the end.
I feel like this
These chats
person.
coming in kind of late. Like we covered this a long time ago.
So I think what happens is you can look at a live video like beforehand. So they probably coming in at a time where we already spoke about it. Ins-
Oh,
And you should click the live button to actually follow us as we're live.
okay.
So I guess we should
I'm like,
tell people that.
okay, yeah, yeah. I know that's true on YouTube because you could basically it like it records while it's playing at the same time, so you could like go back and watch previous things. Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like they're
Okay.
at the beginning of the podcast.
Okay.
Well, they'll get here eventually, and keep
Yeah.
on watching.
They'll
Hey,
catch up.
keep on watching. Thank you so much, Emily, for all your comments. We appreciate them. But the podcast is
Yeah.
almost over now.
Yeah. We about 6 minutes. Um. So another thing I want to talk about is we
Mm,
kind of covered it a little bit, but what can we do for ourselves? I guess we already talking about this about how to basically protect our children from negative effects of social media. And
mhm,
I listened to like a really good advice that came at the end of the documentary.
mhm,
So this guy basically says he has 3 rules for managing screen time. And I'm going to implement one of those rules. Me and my wife decided to try it out, see how it goes. We'll try it for a couple weeks. And if it's good, we'll implement it permanently. But the 3 rules are all devices out to the bedroom by a certain time. So basically, I took that as at a certain time of day, then no screen time, no computers, no TV, no phone,
Mm-hmm.
unless it's like a phone call, but like no like texting and no like watching videos. So after like 7 p.m., you just take your phone, you take your laptop, you shut it down, all that stuff. You turn off the TV,
Mm-hmm.
and you take your phone, you put it in the bathroom or somewhere else so that it's not nearby. So if you get an urge, you can't actually just like reach across and get it.
Yeah.
And we think like in place of that, we might start doing stuff like, I don't know, doing puzzles, read our Kindle, which is not part of the screen time because it's technically reading a book.
Yeah.
Um, doing like board games, fill those spaces in with something else that's more creative or takes more brain power. So we're hoping that's what happens. And the second rule is no social media until high school. Of course, I think every parent could tweak that however they see fit. You could say no social media till kindergarten, no social media till college, no social media till you move out my house, whatever you feel is appropriate. And then the third rule is create a time budget for where we could have screen time. So let's say I think I need to spend, or I would like to spend 8 hours on my phone every day. So
What?
my time budget, this is example.
Okay.
Here's an example. So my time budget would be 8 times 5, 40 hours a week. And I could use that time budget however I see fit. But of course, the first rule was after a certain time of day, no phones. So the budget still would cut off at that point, at that time of day, regardless if you have more left in your budget or not, you
Mm-hmm.
can't use your phone anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think these rules made sense. How you feel about them?
I'm just thinking about what would be able to be done during this time, you know? Like you have to go back to primitive ways of having fun or interacting.
Exactly.
But the only thing about my household is that our lives kind of are disjointed. 'Cause my wife works nights now on the computer. So she probably has to stop being on the computer and stuff from earlier to make up for that time to be working later.
Mm.
But then we only have like an hour or two to spend together, and then when I'm not with her, I'll just be like table games with myself. Like it wouldn't work for me. That's what I'm saying. But I'm feeling like they could work in some way.
Yeah, I think if I was in a situation like that, what I would do is I would have our time where nobody could use phones.
Hmm.
Instead of having it be like a time of day, I would
Hmm.
have it be like a time block in the day.
Yeah.
So like from like 12 to 3 or something like I don't know, whenever y'all could spend the most time together,
Yeah.
that could potentially be the time block where nobody can use phones. We have to do something together.
And I think it has to be
Although
more lenient because it's not always the same time. So like whenever you're not working, like all
more
before
flexible.
work, yeah, all before work, no phones.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it could work. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, I feel like the rules are kind of general and you could kind of tweak them as you see fit.
Hmm.
Or on the other hand, you could just not use them at all. Like I don't think that these are like
Yeah. Yeah.
things you should do. I just think that they're good ideas for me to do because I feel like I know I'm a person who I have a hard time, especially with video games,
Yeah.
like putting them down.
Yeah. I
We
can
don't,
attest to that.
yeah, I don't really watch TV, so that's not a problem for me. I don't really use social media like that, so that's not a problem for me.
Yeah.
But on the other
You're
hand,
more a game and like YouTube video kind of person.
yeah,
And when you go down a rabbit hole, I am dragged with you. Like my phone just blown up video. I'm like, don't you work? Like, golly.
that's the thing. I don't work and do this at the same time. That's how crazy. Like people are like often say like, how can you like do these distracting things
Hmm.
while working? And for me, it's like I cannot work unless I have these distracting
That's
things.
another fault of social media there. Our
Yeah.
attention spans are smaller, but they're also split all over the place. Because now you could do split screen on your phone, which you talked about. You could watch a video while you shop on Amazon. So your brain is actually multitasking, but you're telling your brain, I can do this, this, and this. So now you need this, this, and this. And I
Mhm.
feel like the only way that that would feel comfortable to me is something like music. I can't work without music. That's fair. But like to say I can't work without watching a YouTube video at the same time, that's kind of distracting. Like it's a level up.
It depends.
Yeah,
So for me, certain videos I can't watch and do work at the same time because I gonna end up actually literally watching the video.
yeah.
But then others, if it's like just somebody talking about something,
Hmm.
I could work and listen to that because I don't have to actually watch what they're saying
Hmm.
or doing.
Yeah,
So for me, like The Office, I used to watch The Office a lot while working because I watched The Office so much times. I don't have to watch it anymore. I could just listen and I could imagine what they're doing on screen
hmm,
because I've seen it so many times. So for me, that's what I used to do. Just watch The Office.
yeah. True that, true that. I think we covered just about everything there, which is
Yeah,
good.
we actually covered everything.
Yeah,
I'll be honest though, I thought in the beginning we were rushing through them a little bit,
yeah.
but no, I feel like it's actually good because we ended up where we need to end it up. Needed to end up.
But the thing is that even though we rushed through them, things that we said later went back to the stuff we talked about before, so we still get them a good coverage, I believe.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And this is the first time we had audience engagement.
Yeah, even though they in the past, they're still here.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. I
I
really
like that.
appreciate everybody who came out today
Hmm.
because I shared this with friends and family, and they actually showed up, and I really appreciate that. But hopefully in the future we get people more engagement from like randos. Even trolls would be nice. Like you can come in here and troll us. We don't mind.
Yeah,
Especially not wanted. Wanted is like he don't care.
yeah. I feel like if you're a troll and you're coming in, it's gonna spark some kind of discourse because somebody's gonna disagree with you, and that's gonna start a whole conversation.
Hmm. And then
Yeah,
this is the rabbit hole.
yeah, exactly.
So we kind of encourage going down different paths of train of thoughts and stuff like that too. So
Yeah,
it's all good.
yes, sir, yes, sir.
So
Well,
wait, you know
yeah.
what we did not do? We didn't
Uh-oh.
do our ad.
I mean, I thought about it, and I'm like, mm, I don't know.
Let's do it now. So today the show was brought to you by us. Wanted Amino. We don't have
Uh,
no merch,
yeah,
but
not
one
yet.
day we will.
Yes,
Yeah, one day we will.
we're working. We just hired a social media guru who has 10 years of experience in the field,
Uh-huh.
JK. But we're
Oh,
working there. We're working there. We got
yeah,
our
we did.
audio podcast coming. We're both streaming on Twitch almost regularly now.
Uh-huh.
I'm starting to put videos on YouTube, doing some editing behind the scenes. Mm,
Uh-huh. Yeah, so nowadays we have little clips of our show. So like if you ever want to review something we said, you could just find a clip that's covering it
mhm.
specifically. So you don't have to watch the whole thing over again. Or if you want to share it with your friends or your family, you could just find a clip like, oh man, I remember this part of the show was really hilarious.
Mhm.
Boom. Wanted posted that. Let me share it with everybody.
Yeah.
So
Because
yeah,
even
brought
though
to you
we
by
we
us.
talked about the algorithm being, bad in a sense, we still victims to it because in order to get out there, we need the algorithm to push us.
Yeah.
So there's rules we have to follow.
That's a good thing about an algorithm too, is that it could be manipulated
Yeah.
if you know how it works.
Hmm.
And I think that's part of why, like, my wife is actually really smart with that.
Hmm.
If she's shopping for something, she would purposefully say it out loud because she know the phone listening, and then, or she would search for one deal,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden you see a bunch of different deals coming up for the same thing. So
Hmm.
then you make them compete for your attention so that you could get the best deal.
That's
So
good. That's good.
it could be manipulated.
Yeah. That's good.
It's always a good and a bad, I guess, for
Yeah.
most things. It just happens that the bad is really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. All
Well,
right, take us out.
this has been Rabbit Hole Roundtable Talks again. Today's episode was Apocalypse of Social Media or Social Media Apocalypse. We covered social media, the good, the bad, the ugly, talked about the recent Facebook outage, and tried to spur some imagination of what would happen if this happened on a larger scale and to bigger companies, what would it mean for us? Um, as always, I'm joined by my co-host Mino, who streams on Twitch, and he's here with me every 2 weeks. I also stream on Twitch, and I have my own YouTube channel that's reviving. Um, we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. We're gonna have somebody on here, hopefully, that we can find to talk about something.
Yes, sir.
All
All right,
righty.
guys. Thanks for coming out. Peace.
Peace.